So in counseling, apart from the other aspects that you know, and there is one thing, and this is good to have information for all of you. It's literally between coaching and counseling. This part of counseling, it's called life transitions. So one of the areas of counseling is also life transitions. You know, that's a very important area. I know we haven't discussed that much. So today I'm going to, because I thought of doing some interesting case study for you, something very realistic and a proper terminal with a proper terminology. In counseling, one of the conditions or situations you can say is called life transitions. And we'll discuss about this, what it is, and there is a real case study, of course, concealed. The important details, name, name, a little changed. But okay, so I'll share with you. So life transition is basically a mixed bag of counseling and coaching, both. That's where it is. But I will, so let me share this screen with you and let me know if you can see. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, excellent. All right. See the background? Background is very simple. I know the case study too, so I'll simplify for all of you. So anyone who is joining or have joined, just listen to me. I'll simplify it for you so that you don't have to go through all these details and get lost. Emma, is a pseudonym is there. It's a pseudonym that we have. So Emma, 35 years old woman who recently experienced several significant life transitions. Several significant. Not like this. I lost my car keys, where it is. I am sorry, I'm going through a life transitions. Several and significant life transitions. Okay, two things. She's been married for 10 years and has two children, aged 5 and 10. Emma had been working full time as a marketing manager for a large corporation. However, she recently lost her job. Trending here, there, everywhere you'll get to hear. Laid off, lost the job, this happened. Part of the reason. Lost her job due to company downsizing. Seems like an absolutely realistic and contemporary situation you have. Additionally, her elderly father, whom she was very close to, passed away unexpectedly. Lost her job. Elderly father passed away. Two major. Passed away will go in a part of grieving. Someone has passed away. Lost her job. So losing a job, what kind of problem it causes you? Identity crisis. Job is a 50%. It's a part of you, right? You're known as a marketing manager. Identity crisis, financial difficulties. So I'm just breaking down the issues for you so that it sticks in your mind. When are we gonna role play? We are going to keep this in mind. These multiple life transitions have left Emma feeling overwhelmed, uncertain, and struggling to cope up with the changes. Naturally. She says, what's happening? Felt overwhelmed, uncertain, and struggling to cope up with the changes. Let's see. It's called presenting problem now. Emma seeks therapy to navigate these life transitions and manage the emotional distress she's expecting. Now, she has never been at this stage. This is the first time. So I don't know, the one who I heavily relied on in terms of emotional support, he's not there. I don't know what to do. I don't have a job right now. I've lost the job. Mind it, I have been doing a job. So I had developed a financial security and identity, and I lost both. So it says that manage the emotional distress she's expecting. She feels lost and unsure about her identity, purpose, and future direction. Emma wants support in processing her grief, finding a new career. Just pay attention on this one, the last one. What it is that your client is seeking? Want support. Support what kind of? Processing this grief, finding a new career opportunities, and adjusting to the changes in her life. So mainly three things. If I want to highlight, this is what more or less, that you need to pay attention to. Understand the entire situation, but just pick what are the problems it looks like. So then you have assessment and analysis. The therapist begins by conducting an assessment. Okay, so we have also given you a little more detail this time. So why the therapist begin by conducting assessment to be, to gain a deeper understanding of Emma's experience, emotions, and the impact of recent life transitions. The following factors emerged. When the assessment was done, this is what comes. Loss and grief, number one. Identity and purpose, number three. Uncertainty and fear. Support system. These are the things the assessment brings about. She needs this. I repeat, these are the problems that she has. These are the four things the therapist says. You need this, this, and this. Clear? You understand? That's a finding that you have. Now you see, it says treatment plan and interventions too. So I say the therapist collaborate with the Emma to develop the treatment plan and addresses her specific needs and goals. Now pay attention what I was talking about here. Needs and goals, both. Okay? Finding a job is a goal. Managing the distress is the emotional support that I need. It's not a goal. Is it a goal? Managing a distress? So, like I said initially, life transition counseling is usually half of coaching and half of counseling. In fact, if you pay attention, you will realize that most of people who seek counseling are going to have gone through some sort of life transitions. So just to come back and clarify one more time, sorry. Okay, so these are the things. First one is grief and loss. So providing a safe and supportive. So these are all treatment procedures are given here, kind of. But I'm just highlighting the problems here. I want to see the what kind of, how do you offer it? So grief and loss, identity and self-exploration, coping with uncertainty, building a support system, goal setting and action plan, and progress and outcome. So you see that the entire treatment procedure looks like a coaching and counseling is a mixed bag of it. This is a suggested one. Now, what do you have to do this? Nothing. Just remember to simplify this. Emma, 35 years old, has mainly two, I would say. Loss of job, loss of loved ones. Just two. So forget everything that I said. You want to erase everything. If you want to, perfectly fine. Just remember two things. Client comes to you reporting two situations: loss of a loved ones, loss of job. How would you help? You can get started. So this is a situation that you have. So now let's see who are going to be counselor of the day, counselor of the day, or client of the day. First of all, I see very less people are on camera, but this is sin and crime and vice, not being on camera. So yeah, please be on camera. Microsoft and Apple worked very hard, to ensure that they give you a, FaceTime or cam to use. So yeah, it reminds me something from I was working for a company, it was artificial intelligence company, and they were a VP. So he had a very humorous way of putting people down. So you see, most of us, sometimes he once said that there is a reason why Microsoft created the PowerPoint presentation and Microsoft Word separately. You know what I mean? This is sarcasm on people who use PPT or deck as Word. They copy all the content, paste it. Copied all the content, paste. This is presentation, it's a message highlighting. Similarly comes here. All right, so see, I have good number of people now. Okay, excellent. Let's get started. So I hope by now you have the awareness of the situation, what it is. The situation is a life transition. The client name is Emma. She's 35 years old. She has two kids. One is 5, one is 8. That's fine. She's going through the biggest life transitions, two major incidents. One, she lost her elderly father. Second, she lost her job due to the downsizing. Who she is? She's a marketing manager. She's been a marketing manager for 8 years in a big corporation. She doesn't know how to manage this time and situation. So it's going to be Emma, and who all are going to be counselor of the day. You're going to start raising your hand, and I'll start taking note. So I'm going to take note too. So yeah, get started. Raise hand, and I'm going to be either this or maybe counselor. Let's see.
Yeah, hi, sir. This is Shweta from Kolkata. So this is
Hi,
my
Shweta.
first session, and I
Hello.
really don't know what is going on because I have no idea. So
No
after
problem.
15 years of my studying life, I'm starting again. So I've just
Okay.
seen 3 videos from the course, and I have no idea. So this is my first session. Basically, I've enrolled last Sunday only. So
No
can
problem. Just this is a practice session. It is. I think have you just joined?
yeah.
So it's a practice session. So if you have just started your program, watch more, enjoy, observe, watch other people who involve, participate, uh, offer your reflection on their counseling and coaching skills, how well they do, and then just observe for a few sessions. The moment you develop some confidence on your own, you also become one of the participants.
So I just want to
That
clear one thing that these session continues, like people join and leave. Like I have start.
no,
So
no,
this,
no,
no, it's not like that.
no. This
It's like
session
a first
you
session of
stay.
this. No.
No, no, these are the situation practice sessions. So yeah, you mean ongoing session? These are yes. It's just that in every session you have
Like
different
for the other
situations.
people, this is the first session, or only for me.
No, it can be many people who are new the first
Okay.
time. So this is a practice session for
Okay.
those. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
All right. ठीक है. So who are going to be ठीक है? Indrani, you're going to be a counselor, or Emma?
I want to be
Client.
Emma first, and then I would definitely go out for counselor also.
ठीक है. All right. Aarti is there. Let me also take note. Yes, Aarti. What do you want to demonstrate as Emma counselor?
So whatever. As you say.
ठीक है. All right. Others as well, please. You can keep raising your hand so I can get to know. How many of you really have the understanding of situation? I hope all of you have, right? If this is your initial session, just observe. Don't do anything. Just observe. Okay. Who else are going to be Emma? Who else are going to be counselor? Kushant, have you been counselor before?
Yeah, in the last session, I did the role of counselor, and as a matter of fact, for this one as well, I would prefer being counselor unless I don't know if there's somebody else who wants to go.
Yeah, do that. I think we'll all be needs more people, Kushant. So of course, no problem at all. In fact, I think he Prashant. Consider other people too. See, you need to keep. This is your session, right? You bring forward and say, okay, I wanna take up a role. So especially if you have gone through and don't worry about it. Don't worry. There's no such thing as blunder. We'll figure it out. Sovik, hi Sovik.
Hello, sir.
Hi.
Am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible. You're fine. Problem. You wanna be a counselor? Or situation? Did you get the hang of the situation, Savik? Did you understand what is the situation?
Yes, yes.
ठीक है. All
Yes,
right.
yes.
ठीक है. Abhijit, you want to be a counselor?
Anyone. I'll be learning.
I would like to be a
That's
counselor.
not
Yes.
no issues.
ठीक है. All right, चलेगा, ठीक है. So what I'm going to do, I'll start with, and you can keep muting yourself in between and make sure that all of you are at a place where there is hardly any background noise, almost no background noise, because, so that other people don't get distracted. So just ensure that part. That's very, very important. Because in Q&A, some background noise is okay sometimes because I quickly unmute, ask my questions, and done. But here, you got to be here in the moment. So yeah, keeping that in mind. Excellent. All right. Okay. So let's get started. I think I'll start with who? We have Abhijit is there, Prashant is there, Aarti is there. Any other one? Other people are there. You can also keep raising your hand. Even in between you want to come, that's fine. So let me start with Abhijit and maybe Prashant, and then I will pick, or maybe Abhijit and Aarti or Prashant and Aarti. Let's start with Prashant and Aarti. And then I'll pick Abhijit, and then I will pick the other ones. Keep your hand raised. I might forget to, okay? Because there's so many pictures I have to keep looking for, and pictures keep changing its placement sometimes. So yes, okay. Thank you very much. Yeah, stay there. I'm going to put them in a spotlight. I'm sure you're aware. All right then. Okay. So Prashant, ready?
Yeah.
Excellent. So all right, I'll keep Aarti as Emma for now, and then I'll keep Prashant as counselor, and then let's see how it goes. And based on, and I would request all of you, please, 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 and please take note. There would be some learning points, and learning points are not necessarily do's. Don'ts are also a great learning point. In fact, don'ts are more important than do's. So if you realize during the counseling session that maybe, Prashant said something, did something that you wish, oh, no, no. So keep your reflection in a do's and don'ts format. And then after, when, these people are done, then I will ask you opinion. How do you think they have done or they're doing? And based on this, I'll keep taking other people. So I'll keep switching the role. Then, of course, someone can replace Prashant and someone can replace Aarti. Okay? Everyone, ready? All of you have the basic understanding of situation? To simplify, Emma, 35 years old, has two crucial situations. This counseling topic is about life transition. She's not able to manage life transition. She's seeking help from a professional. Coming first time, okay, she has lost her elderly father and her job in marketing that she has been doing for 8 years. Financial situation is there and all of this. So let's see. Let me put Aarti on spotlight. Let me also put Prashant. Where is he? Got it. Okay. Right. Can you all see Aarti and Prashant in spotlight?
Yes.
Okay. Cool. Prashant, you're okay, right?
Yeah, all good.
All right. You look a little lost. All good?
I'm usually lost. That's my default state. Yeah.
Okay. Ciao. All right then. So everybody starts taking note, okay? Right from the beginning. And perfectly all right. You don't have an expert to take note. You just can be user. Best of my understanding, this is what I like, this is what I don't like, this is what I will pay for, this is what I will not pay for. Like usually in the practice session, one of my mentors used to ask when somebody will say, because we all want to be politically correct, right? So somebody asks a feedback, say, oh, I think he's done good. Okay. How good? Can you pay him for this? And that's when no. Or you say, yeah, I think I can pay him for this. So keeping that in mind, so just do, and this is all you're learning. And based on whatever reflection I have for Prashant or Aarti, of course, I'll share with everyone else, but I would also love to take. And you give your own reflection too. And please do that. Just say that according to me, this is what it is. All right, let's get started. I'll say 1, 2, 3. Our session is going to be, so maybe in between Aarti and Prashant, session is going to be for 10 minutes plus almost. And then someone will switch. Prashant and someone will switch Aarti. Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Okay. Hello, Emma. This is Prashant, your therapist or counselor for today. And before we begin with anything, please be assured anything we speak of is only between you and me and doesn't do doesn't leave this room, so it's all between us. So how are you doing, and what's brought you in here?
Thank you so much for asking, Prashant. Thank you for clarifying stuff. So, am I audible?
Yes, indeed, loud and clear.
Uh, well, Prashant, I don't know where to begin from. I am like kind of totally lost. I just don't know where to begin from. There is so much which is going in my life. It's like in a turmoil. I have like, I mean, all spheres of life are like, broken. It's like my finances are not going well. I don't know. On top of that, I just lost my father. I just don't know how to talk, what to do, what not to do. My life is like completely spoiled. I just don't know what to do. I just don't know how to cater to the situation. I just don't know what to do. क्या करूं, कैसे करूं, कुछ समझ नहीं आ रहा. So I think that's the reason I'm here. So yeah.
Since how long have you been feeling this sort of lost practically just about everything, if I'm not mistaken, at the way you sound?
Uh, Actually, I think what happens. Like I've heard a very famous thing. Bhagwan jab deta tab thappar phaad ke deta. It's like that. All of the situations have come at a go. It's like just a month back, I lost my father, and I was just coping up with that. In the meanwhile, I was not in my office due to the loss of my father, and suddenly I received a mail a week back wherein my company is downsizing, and that's the reason probably I've lost my job as well. So yeah, this last month has been very, very tough for me. So yeah.
Well, I'm sorry about the loss of your father. So were you very close to your father as you speak?
Yeah, I was indeed very, very close to him. I think my dad was my bestie because he was my mental support. I used to talk to him about anything and everything on this earth. There was a routine for us talking every day. And had it been the situation in front of him, I don't know. I mean, I think um, if he was there, he would have supported me. He would have helped me to come out of this. Um,
Was this almost simultaneous, losing your father, losing your job? Was there a gap?
As I already mentioned, it was just like a month back, I lost my father. And because of that, I had not joined my office. I had taken a leave. And last week itself, I got a mail from my office about the downsizing of the company. And that's the reason I have lost my job. So yeah, this last month is what I'm specifically talking is being tough on me. And I don't know how to cope up with both the situations, like losing out on somebody you love the most. And then losing out on my job. I have been working for like really long with this company. I was associated with this company for quite a long. There was a routine, going out of the house in the way, talking to your dad, and then getting back to work and all of that. Now I have nothing to do. I don't have that to talk. I don't have the way to go somewhere. So yeah.
Okay. Okay. For the moment, let's focus, upon your professional aspect, your job that you had lost. How long were you there at your last job?
As I just mentioned, I was there for last 8 years. So
For 8 years again. I'm sorry, I
yeah.
didn't get that. All right. And you, what was the capacity that you were working in? What was your role?
I was working as a sales and marketing head out there.
All right. And now having lost the job and having quite a significant experience of 8 years, how is it going? Have you been considering job search, looking for a job as yet?
No, not at all. It was going absolutely fine. I was happy. I was rather expecting a promotion. Uh, I wasn't searching for any kind of switch or something of that sort. But that, yes, this came as a shocker that I was so comfortable, I was working well, everything was fine. And suddenly this break. So, yeah.
And at the moment, after having lost the job, have you now started to look for something else, or
Prashant, I'm in a position where I really don't know what to do because, as I have already mentioned, that there was this one person in my life, it's been my dad. I have been sharing all my problems with, I have been talking to him. It was a daily routine with the problems, with the happiness, with everything. There's only one person I have been sharing, and I have lost him. He's no more with me. So I feel lost. I don't know whom to go to. I don't know how to come out of this situation. I don't know how to bear the loss which I'm already having. I don't know. I mean, there are two things which basically described me. One, my connection with the dad, one was where I was working. And right now I feel so empty. I have nothing in the hands. It's like everything has been taken away from me. Everything has been snatched away from me. God has been really rude to me. I mean, why me? Why me? I mean, why? What have I done so bad that I lost my father? I lost my job. I'm just losing out on everything. I mean, why me? So
when you start your day every day after you get up, what is your routine like now?
Shant, I have no routine. That's what I have been saying, I guess. So I had a routine. I used to talk to my dad whenever I was on my way to the office. Now there is nothing, no talking, no going to office. So I don't have a routine. I
And
can't
so,
sleep. I can't wake up on time. I can't focus. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to fill that major gap of my life. So yeah.
so, uh, so when you are starting your day, as soon as you're out of the bed, so I suppose, there must be some regular activities, brushing your teeth, washing your face, getting out of the bathroom, and then you are somewhere sat, I don't know, your couch or table. What is your next action after that? Is there a book that you pick up, or you just maybe thinking and thinking, trying to navigate through the next few hours, what has to be done? Do you
There is
take it?
no day, there is no night, there is no morning, there's nothing. I just don't know. I mean, there's no schedule anymore. I can wake up anytime. My alarm doesn't rings anymore. Rather, I don't have to pay a heed to the alarm because there's nothing where I need to report. There's nobody who's waiting for my call. So there is no such schedule as such. I don't know how to get
How
back to
about
life, how to
right?
cater to things. So
How about your equation with your husband? How are things? I mean, now that you are in this turmoil, as you mentioned, how are things going on between the two of you?
things are good as normal it is. Uh, he's there. He's always a great support. He's always been a great support. But that major chunk of my life is missing. And that is what has made me feel empty.
Right.
And that is where I'm struggling to move on. Because my dad was kind of my hero, he was everything for me. My job, where I was there for last 8 years, I had kind of developed a responsibility, a day schedule, and all of that. So this was what always described me on a major, larger chunk. And now all of that is missing. I won't be able to hear my dad again. I won't be logging into the computer again. I won't be putting my fingerprint on the door again. There would be nobody wishing me good morning. There won't be anybody asking me, why am I late? There is no questioning. There is no answering. I don't have the meaning to my life anymore, I guess. I mean, what do I do? How do I do?
Uh, I'm
What shall I
sorry
do now?
to, I'm really sorry to hear, what you're speaking about. And in this connection, how was your father in the sense when did he pass away out of some illness? What was with him?
Yeah. I was not prepared for his death. It was a sudden heart attack. And it was just that he passed away with a just blink of an eye. And it just happened when probably I was expecting that not to happen.
So he did have a heart attack and he passed away. What was that the first time he had a heart attack?
No, he wasn't that well. But then these last months, he was absolutely fit and fine. So I guess I was not prepared for was not prepared for this. So
Do you think maybe he's set free from his illness, that he's perhaps in some happy place? Do you feel something sometimes about that?
sorry, I don't get you. Can you please repeat?
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. I was lost somewhere. Can you please repeat?
No, not a worry. So I was asking you, do you feel that having passed away, could he possibly be set free from his pain? And he probably is somewhere resting in a happy place. Do you sometimes think that?
No, as I earlier said, he was fit and fine in the last months, so there was no pain. And that's the reason I feel it the most. And there are many people who are ill at this age,
Right.
and he wasn't that ill, as I said again earlier. He was fit and fine in the last 6 months. So he's not set free from the pain. It's the way of God punishing me. He took away my dad. He took away my job. He took away the reason for me to live. He just took away everything from me. And I'm left all alone in this big house with no purpose of life. I have nothing to do.
Okay, I have two
There's no
questions.
aim, there's no purpose, there's no life. It's nothing. Yeah.
Why do you feel that you've been punished for something? And second question is, when you say that you are alone, you're by yourself, why do you feel you are alone? You have your, as you mentioned, your loving husband, you also have your kids.
Nobody can take my dad's place. Nobody on this earth can take his place. It just can't be neutralized that if dad is not there, husband is there. It just can't be neutralized. And of course, it's a punishment, don't you think so? I lost my dad. I was just grieving over it. I got a mail from my office. I am no more working. My finances are gone. My dad is gone. Is it not a punishment? I was not expecting either of the things to happen. What is it then? What am I supposed to do now?
Well, nobody can replace your father. This is hands down the truth. As far as your financial situation, when you speak of, because you were working for so long and in that great position, do you not think you will be able to regain that kind of a position somewhere else? And hence a betterment in financial situation?
I think my life is duping me. I have lost all my confidence of finding anything new. if after doing so much, if after having so much, if I can come to this situation, what's the point of finding anything new? Who's gonna celebrate that? Who am I gonna speak to about? Who will be tapping me at the back that, oh, you're doing something great or something new? I don't find a reason to find anything else. 8 years. I gave 8 years of my life in an organization, and they didn't even take 8 minutes to screw my life up. And especially at this position when I was already grieving with all of this. Why do you think I should search for anything new? I don't want it. There's no purpose of my life. I'm done. I'm finished.
Okay, Prashant, you want to pass on to role to someone else?
Yeah, sure.
Sure. Okay, all right. So I hope the people who were ready to participate, so Prashant, so usually instead of me, too, you can also pass on to your role to someone else that you want, if you want.
Mhm.
So I think Abhijit, you were ready to take forward from here.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, Abhijit will do. And Adi, do you also want to pass on your role to someone else?
So anybody. Thank you, Prashant, for the session. Thank you, others, for listening to me.
Thanks
And
to
thank you for all
you.
the comments.
Absolutely. I have a feedback too. So, what are we gonna do? So maybe, we will, I'll just quickly share my reflection and then we'll also move on to the other people. But let me first set set the pair right, and then we'll do. Who is gonna take this role from Aarti, from Emma, for Emma? You have to resume from here, apart from whatever Prashant asked and on. Who is next? Indrani, you wanna do the counselor, counselor, or client you want to do? You want
Yes,
to
client.
continue from here?
Yeah.
ठीक है,
I'll take
ठीक है,
over from Aarti.
ठीक है. So Indrani is taking over from Aarti. Let me uh, remove Prashant from a spotlight and Aarti from a spotlight. Then I will give a quick reflection, and then we can, move from here. ठीक है. All right. But before I do, someone, do you have any quick reflection for Prashant and Aarti? So Aarti, good job. There's great acting skills. So very good. NSD is waiting for you.
Thank
But
you
I
so
think, yeah.
much. Thank you,
Prashant, I have a
Prashant. And I'm
critical,
sorry if I was a little tough on you.
for a moment, Prashant was like, Aarti, not here. So will you care? But I think it's good. It's really good to be in this situation because the idea of practicing here is to practice so well. And I'll give you a what do I call, bottom line to it, that practice so well that someone can pay you for it. And the reason I'm bringing the monetary part, and because numbers are very easy to connect. So when you do a demonstration and mock practice, do it so well, as realistic as you will be doing when someone is paying you for it. How realistic you want to do. Just keep that thing in mind, and most of the time you'll be great. So ठीक है. Some quick reflection for Prashant. Aarti, you as a client yourself, how Prashant did according to you, and then I'll also learn from Prashant himself. Yes, Aarti, as a client,
Yeah,
how
Prashant
did you
was
feel?
nice with the beginning. He was very warm, very welcoming. I liked his tone and modality. Like he was soft and nice. But having said all of that, there was only a few times, I guess, when I purposely mentioned, as I said earlier, because I found that he was losing track on the things which I've already said.
Okay.
And
Okay.
this one point. Second point is like where I missed that he was like focusing one question again and again, throwing me in different languages. And like about my husband, we never converse about my family life. And he straight away came to the husband. So I wanted to ask him, like, how did he get to know about that I'm married or something like that? But then it was like, okay, story hai already. That's the reason he has just lost it and he has come to husband directly. But then family history and family relations were not taken. And he straight away came to husband. And thirdly, I found that yes, somebody I think whispered also, and I was about to say that introduction was missing a bit. But then overall, it was nice. He was trying to understand because the griefs were too much to handle for me, and I was kind of heartbroken in front of him. So I think he got carried away with that, and he was soft and sweet. So yeah, it was nice overall. But yeah, these three things were missing. I found that you were missing on the track of the things which I was saying. I had to repeat it again and again. So that was a little
Okay.
disturbing for me as a client. So yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
All right. Thank you, Aarti. Prashant, this is very, very important. Self-assessment is also very important. Where others have, so it's very important. How would you assess this session for yourself so far before Abhijit taking over you and Indrani taking over Aarti? Yes. What's your self-assessment, Prashant, so far in the conversation?
I think it's something she already mentioned, Aarti, about, I made her repeat a few things. And this is why at one point I did mention that I'm sorry, I didn't quite get that earlier. So yes, that is definitely one thing. The other part is a little technical here, because you see, I was trying to control myself from not getting into really analyzing the situation because this was the first session. But I consistently got the feeling that she is more grief-stricken. She's more struck by the tragedy of having lost her father than the tragedy of losing job, because job is always recoverable. You can get something else.
Yeah.
And because she was, again, that was my analysis, but because it was the first session, so I didn't quite want to get to that point of sort of even, giving her a cue or a hint that, you are sort of stuck about the fact of having lost your father, and that's why you're not able to do something. But you see, this was a tricky part as well. I mean, how to sort of communicate that in a subtle way so that she doesn't feel offended or something to that effect. That's why I was trying to tell her that, you can regain your financial situation. Have you thought about that? So trying to put the ball in her court instead of myself saying something to her.
Got you. I have a reflection, Prashant, I'll share with you, but thank you very much. It's very important to self-reflect, to self-assess. How well I think I'm doing in a different situation, because always remember, in any counseling and coaching situation, no matter how much expertise you have, you only have 50% control. Why? Because every time you have a new client with new situations, you're always on new spot. They're just two people. No matter how old you are to yourself, other person is always new to you. So it's always that situation in counseling. So I think the more dynamic skills you develop over the period of time, the more control you can demonstrate throughout the session. Counseling is less static, more dynamic. So this is what it is. Excellent. Anyone has any reflection for Prashant as a counselor, that what do you think he could have done, has done?
Yes,
Quick.
have one.
Second wala. Jaldi.
Yeah. So when she was telling that she doesn't have a routine now, he could have said at that time that, you have your kids at home and they are obviously school-going age kids. So how is she connected to her kids? What does she do for them? Like, she doesn't have any part in their life.
Family.
She must be doing something for them, right? She is not like doesn't have any work to do with the kids. Like, they are there, she will go for job and she's just grieving for her father. That's it. What about the kids? She must be doing something. Like, there are hundreds of things to do for kids and responsibilities are there. So he might have distracted her a bit onto how, what kind of bond she has with
the other aspects of life.
Yeah,
touching message.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Prashant, so you can keep connecting the dots as a reflection. Maybe I could have done it. Maybe I tried. Maybe this is the reason I did not do blah, blah, blah. So you can keep connecting the dots when you listen from your peers. Sure. Acha, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? Because what happens, Prashant, when you are in this situation, you can't think the way your peers think because they are not in the situation. So, and they always have an ability and chance to follow up the situation. You don't have, because you need to navigate. So, but they can always follow up. So they don't have to be as active and ready as you are. Right. So they can always see things very differently and very creatively too, many times. Right. Excellent. Anyone else has anything to offer, Prashant?
Yes,
as a reflection?
sir.
Yes, please.
Basically, introduction was missing.
Okay.
He did not ask for Aarti to introduce herself. He just said that I am your counselor. He didn't introduce himself. Where are they from? The empathy was not created.
Okay.
The
Yeah.
empathy
Okay.
was
All
missing.
right. Okay.
And definitely the family background would have been reflected during the counseling session.
All right.
Instead
Yeah.
of just
I agree with
focusing on the father's loss of a father, he was just focusing on only one question, and obviously Aarti was getting, I mean, Emma was getting carried away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but there is a reason for focusing on the loss of her father, because as you, and I'm sure this must have been your everybody's reflection too, that she was time and again coming back to the same point. There is only
So
one reason why would someone go
I
back to
think
the same point unless it has been traumatized to that extent. And so
exactly.
that had to be resolved before anything else.
Yeah. But part of the feedback,
Okay.
Prashant, I think, the part of the important fact that I would agree with her is initial stage. You did not set the tone, right? Yes. And I will share my reflection, then I will quickly share with you. Excellent.
Then,
Anyone else?
then the way he said that now let's focus on. We don't focus on.
I got into coaching mode. But TK, but there are a lot of other things that Prashant. So I have Prashant. I just quickly want to share my reflection with you,
Sir,
and then so that we
quickly,
can move
I will.
forward. Jaldi say.
I will
Yes.
as a yes,
Stand,
yes.
yes.
Like
हाँ,
इन्होंने बहुत अच्छा बोला कि मैं उनके एक ही पॉइंट पे फोकस करा था. That is right perspective from his side. And
ठीक है.
Aarti, you have done very well. So empathetical, being a
Aarti was great.
empathetical, and that is also a quality of a counselor. So might be like जो मैंने इसमें लिखा भी है कि father, okay, loss of father पे अगर बात किया तो कितना सारा उनका लव था, उन्होंने क्या प्रिंसिपल सिखाए, अगर उस पे he will talk, so definitely the solution will.
Yeah. So there was one area he could have explored more and maybe created a positive aura,
Prashant.
at least for that moment, so that so what Prashant was really scared of, the more I talk about it, the more things will change. And what Aarti was hang on, this is what I want to talk about it. So I think this was a very creative solution is, okay, talk about it. But let's talk about those things that might create this entire environment a little more positive, So of course, give striking, but
Definitely, I like
differently.
his perspective.
Yeah, I think, that was a good point, Prashant. Maybe you can take. Yeah, excellent. All right. ठीक है, जल्दी से. Now, my turn. And so that we can move forward. So I have kept your reflection in do's and don'ts, kind of. So right in the beginning, you started with disclaimer. Beautiful, but you hardly talk about yourself. You hardly, asked her. You did not set the tone, but you started with disclaimer. So disclaimer is a crucial part of it. But maybe you could have used a disclaimer in little later. Pale, hi, hello, and however is the style of communication you wanted to set. For example, if I were you, thinking, hi, Aarti. Maybe, so there are situations, maybe you have a spoken Aarti or your assistant has a spoken Aarti somewhere. So in both situations, you can utilize this. Hi, Aarti, good to see you finally. We spoke on the phone. My name is Prashant. I'm one of the psychologists. Or maybe I'll be a psychologist or I'll be a counselor for the day to day. So you speak like this. If you're someone else I have spoken, okay, hi, Aarti, please have a seat. And then you quickly ask and try to connect the dot. Since this is Zoom session, you can say, okay, hey, yeah, I hope you can hear me fine. I can hear you fine. So sometimes you can just reflect. Let's say, if you don't want to start with a question, don't want to start with a doubt, do it just opposite. Say, Aarti, I can hear you loud and clear and can see you absolutely fine. Can you also hear me loud and clear and see me absolutely fine? It's a reverse approval, right? So very, nice way to start. You can do that. You can always do that. Anything you want to ask her that you think may not be very comfortable, first tell about yourself. Okay. Hi, my name is Prashant and I'll be your counselor. Though I have been practicing, and always show the big thing is small and the small thing big if it works in your favor and the favor of counseling. For example, let's say you're a veteran in the industry. You come with 20 years of experience. It might be intimidating to the client too many times. So you don't have to use that way. You rather want to say that, though I have been in the industry for 20 years, and helping thousands of people, trust me, every time this is a new situation, I'm just like a student. So I always try to see what best I can do. Maybe any which way that you want to put, so that she still knows who you are, but she doesn't feel intimidated. anything like this. Okay. So that's one part. So maybe you could have started a little bit. So comforting was missing entirely. There was not even a sign of comforting. It's like jumping directly. Nahi. You can always, because it's like a public speaking. You see, in public speaking, what happens if you don't know your audience, no matter how great speech you're going to deliver, there is a high chance it may fail because you don't know your audience. It's very, very, very important. And instead of, acha, a quick take on Indrani. Indrani says, did not introduce, did not ask her. I would always say that different psychologists will suggest you differently. I will just suggest you my style, what I have been doing. Always ask introduction in pieces. Because my answer depends on the situation and the state of mind. You want to talk about my family, I'm least interested right now. You want to talk about my job and what I have achieved, it doesn't matter to me right now. So maybe it's part of your sequence, but the sequence doesn't fit me at all. So sometimes if you're smart and as a contemporary counselor, always ask introduction in pieces. So शुरू में थोड़ा नाम वाम हो गया initially, little bit, that can get the conversation started. And in between, you can explore the introduction. For example, one of the things that you should have asked, I've always said this to any counseling session, that learn about your client's daily routine as much as possible. That is your blueprint. If you don't know about your client's daily routine, you will never know if there is anything changed. You will never really be able to pinpoint. So, see, unless you create, client's job is to make everything subjective. Your job is to make everything objective. You cannot put your finger to something unless you don't know which is it and what is it. As friendly as possible, as smartly as possible. So take a situation, Aarti is saying, she's grief-stricken, right? I lost my dad. Abhi, what you can do about this? It's pure subjective. You cannot do anything about it. What will you say? Show sympathy? That's not allowed. You're a counselor. Show empathy for how long and how much? So empathy is the core of counseling. It's not one of the techniques of counseling. It's core. So no matter what therapy you're using, what stage of counseling you are at, either in the beginning and the end, it should be everywhere throughout the counseling. Empathy is a glue. It's a flavor of counseling, not a technique, not a placement. You should be empathetic throughout the counseling session. Doesn't matter what it is. So that's one thing you could do. So you could have learned about her daily routine completely. Yeah, there is a good chance she wouldn't tell you as detailed as you're looking for. That's all right. You have follow-up questions. There are times you can have a what if questions. There are times you can ask why questions, just to know that you understand what it is and why it is. And that is exactly where, about the kids, about the husband, you will understand the entire dynamic of your client. You don't have to ask much questions. You'll already know. And then you'll be very careful asking questions. I will naturally talk about, and that is exactly where you would have a lot of opportunity to build a quick rapport. You don't even have to bring the rapport building questions somewhere from the sky, because that might be awkward. But while I'm telling you about my daily routine, oh, you have a chance. Okay, yeah. I get up in the morning. As I told you, I don't have a job, so I drop my kids. Okay, talking about your daughter is for 8 years and your son 5 years. Is it okay to ask your son's name? Yeah, he's this. From now onwards, this moment forward, always tell the name of the son. No daughter, no son. Done. Just in the process, there is a good chance, Emma could have told husband's name too. And I think just, say the reason why Prashant, because it was said that husband was supportive. So it's like, how did he know? He knew from the details. Because you have a kid and yeah, husband was supportive. So he expected you still have his husband, no divorces, nothing happened. And so I think maybe that is where he picked up from. And that's a good thing. So this is how Prashant, maybe, once you had scanned the entire, you would know Emma, more than she thinks you do. And then you navigate. You need to take the situation in control as smartly as possible. It's possible the MI is not interested in talking about the daily routine. She'll just give you the excerpt. That's fine. Whatever is important to you, you look for the intel or detail if you want. If you don't, that's fine. So that's one thing, Prashant. But I think yes, the great do's that I like that you have used this silence as powerfully as possible. Silence is the greatest tool in your communication. Most of you, and this is ironic, but this is true. Nothing makes your communication more powerful than silence. So you have that's something you have powerfully used silence in your communication. Yes, undoubtedly, great listener. Not active listener though, great listener. But there are a lot of points that you missed, right? So your listening skills were good, but you could have been very active. And active listening is not just about listening and picking and remembering the point, it's about engaging. So did I tell you ever, you are an amazing listener when the speaker doesn't stop talking. If the speaker stop talking, you're not a good listener. So how super actively you listen, the speaker doesn't stop talking at all. When they don't stop talking, they give you a lot of information. The more information they give, the less question you have to ask. You already have everything that you want. So maybe, listening is one of the areas, and you have done good. Very patiently you listen, very comforting, I think, yeah. So the basics and the fundamental approach that you needed in counselor, you have it. This is absolutely there. Just say you need to hone it differently because it creates a different scenario altogether. So us scenario mein how well you can function, that really matters. Otherwise, most people are great. Now let's talk about the don'ts part. You did not use any power statement. Oh, she was really stricken, grief stricken, this stricken, that stricken. Use some power statement. Life transitions. Taste something. Make her feel good. Pay attention. Not the entire session you said anything that made her feel good. Power statement. There can be quotations. There can be examples. There can be stories. Anything small that supports her belief system first. So maybe power statement would have been an amazing thing to do. And that don't use the power statement as social, this is socially. For example, no point of saying this case, I know, what can you do? नहीं. ये हमारे relative वाले के counselors नहीं कहते हैं. It's more of a sympathy. It don't worry about it. No, I will worry. I am here because so not those kind of statements, right? Maybe in this situation, what you can do, because it was more of a grief counseling that was turned towards, maybe you could have said this, okay, I don't know if I should say. So let's say sometimes if you want to say exactly what you want to say, use a disclaimer. I don't know if I should say and say it. I don't know if you will take it right and tell it. Because you will have to penetrate and go inside. You cannot बाहर से ना नहीं रह सकते. You have to go inside. तो शुरू में हो गया 5 मिनट के लिए इधर उधर थोड़ा सा, but now you will have to go deep. So go deep, take risks. And what kind of risks are there in counseling? It can backfire, but know how to handle it.
If I may
Yeah.
interrupt you, I'm sorry about this.
Please.
Will it be okay to use something of that sort, which is sort of giving her an advice or a suggestion right in the first session? Because again, I could be wrong, but for me, the first session would rather be to take as precise a note as possible of their existing situation, so that in the next session possibly they could be sort of suggested. But in the first session itself, would it be okay to imply a suggestion?
Yeah, so it's not suggestion, it's like navigation tool. Because if you don't comfort me, see, you're helping me and I'm listening to you, but you can comfort me for 30 seconds, I'll listen to you 2 minutes more. Again, you comforted me for 30 seconds, again, I will listen to you. Communication happens in moments. each moment someone decides, am I turning on or turning off, turning on and turning off? You got to be super intelligent in this. Choice of words, tone, delivery. So these are connectors, Prashant. Power statements are connectors, and it will give you more control of this entirely, because ultimately things has to change. Right? So, okay. So you got the point, Prashant? So this is what it is. So just navigation, not a suggestion, advice,
Sure.
maybe in first session, just a navigation, so that she should think he understands me. I think we are connecting well. I think we both are on the same page. I think he's right. I don't agree with him, not fully, but partially maybe. You need to talk to my self-talk too, not just me. So that's how smart you need to communicate with your client. So it will really make the entire conversation and counseling session smooth. Because ultimately she has to give you money and feedback. So you need to ensure that it's very, very important, because first session the client may not say ki, "Haan, bahut acha tha," but she should say ki, "Yeah, it was not bad." That's good for the first session. Let's see in the second. So that's about the communication. The few things that one thing that we have, you could have used a lot of acknowledgement. You did not use, you used acknowledgement a few times, but mostly what happened, she said something, repeated something, and then what you did, you started, you asked a question. So there was a clear, so maybe you could have either rephrased, right? You could have mirrored her many a times. These are all communication tools you should know. For example, you could have said, "Arti, you got me the moment you say," because I remember one of the clients just recently, a few days ago, I was taking a counseling session. I can only imagine how hard it is for you to manage. I've never been in that spot. But yes, since I have been counseling and speaking with people who have been exactly in this spot as you are, I don't even know how hurtful it is. Sometimes you need to acknowledge differently. See, if you ask yes, no, I understand, I don't understand. Sometimes you need to explain your acknowledgement so that it looks realistic and authentic. The moment you're specific, anything can become authentic. Simplest way to make anything authentic. If you want to lie to someone, there is a small programs I did long time ago, 4 ways to catch a liar. So the technique was, when you lie to someone, you just need to be specific. People will believe in you. For example, if I'm late and say, "Hey, Suveen, where were you?" "Oh, sorry, there was no internet." You might find me I'm lying. But I'll say, "Oh, I don't know. I am already late. I don't want to really take much of your time to explain what happened, but this is really chaos in Noida. There's no electricity for almost 2 days. Yes, in some areas there are, and I can't even tell you. Forget about the internet. A lot of things have been chaotic. Unfortunately, internet was one of these. Yeah, so there was a loss of internet. So I'm sorry. I just somehow managed. This is the phone. It's the Airtel connection I had. It doesn't give a good network. I believe deeply what I'm saying, but I'm lying. I did not mean anything of this. When you become specific, people believe in you. When you don't, you can't. Try this. When someone lies, that's why you ask a follow-up questions. Kahan the? You see the interrogation in criminal psychology? So criminals are asked a lot of follow-up questions for specificity. They don't know. They're lost. They're caught. So you can use it if you want. Excellent. Chalo. Okay, Prashant, this is all. The last one I have to you. Yeah, you said why did you feel you alone when you had your loving husband? You know that कि वो सही question नहीं था, है ना? Because husband is never a replacement to some other relations, and she was always already aggregated of this, so wasn't a good time to do something. I know you had a different intention of asking is you could divert, but did not work. So sometimes, and maybe if you want to use it, there is always a way of using anything you want to use. You can say that, I don't know, Emma, if this helps you. Sometimes when we don't have the only people that we want most in our life, we hang on to someone who we still have. I don't know if this is true in your case. What do you think? Oh, you'll get to know the reality. If she believes in it, like, yeah, but you know, it's not like a father. I understand. बात भी बोल दिया, उसकी intensity भी समझ में आ गई, how much she really means, and then you can take it forward accordingly. If this worked for you, then you children wala thing. This worked for you, then use other things. But if this pattern is not working, वही drop कर दो. It's like hot water test. You know, when you want to test how hot the water is, don't put your hands in it. Put your finger in acid. If it works, move. If it doesn't work, change. So on this now, there is Mr. Bean, right? You watch Mr. Bean's thing. So there is a scene. Mr. Bean was standing, and a girl passed by, and then he was, smiling and blushing, and then girl came back and said, "Were you flirting with me?" Well, that depends. So in a way, it's like if this was working, yes, I was. If this was not working, no, I was not. So I think if you connect the dots like this, okay, hot water test, more of an agile methodology. Let's see how it works. All right, that's all, Pisan. Good job. I think just incorporate all of these things, practice more, be more attentive, careful, and things will work out good because you have your basics right. So you'll be able to pick it better than anyone else. Excellent. Tika, we already have people. Indrani, you are there. Who was there? Indrani and?
Abhijit.
Acha, Abhijit. Tika. So I'm putting you on the spotlight. Indrani, I put you on the spotlight. Abhijit, I'm putting you on the spotlight. Let's get started. Excellent. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, ma'am. Yeah, as we are going through the session. So now tell me, do you have any siblings?
Yes, Abhijit, I'm mother of two children.
Siblings.
Siblings.
Not a sibling.
Siblings.
Sorry. Yeah. Thanks, Aarti. Yeah. We are two sisters actually.
Okay.
I'm the elder one.
Okay.
I have a younger sister.
And what about your mother?
Yes, I have my mother. She's there.
She's living with you, or?
No, she doesn't stay with us. She stays separately. Actually, my father and my mother, they were staying in the same house, in a different house.
Since how
And
long?
as we both the sisters are married, so we live with our family.
Okay. And who used to take care of, is taking care of your father and your mother? Who was taking care of your father and mother?
We both the sisters were taking.
Okay.
We both the sisters were taking care of them.
And can you tell me something about your father, like what he used to do at his earlier ages and how he brought you up?
My father was actually an engineer. He was working in a multinational company. He had worked there. He retired from the service, and he was in a transferable job. So we have traveled many cities with him, and definitely he has brought up us well. We both the sisters are well settled. We were well settled in life.
Okay.
We are educated. We are married.
So is your father was living in a different city or in the same city?
No, we lived in the same city.
Okay. So you used to visit him also time to time.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So what about your kids? How was their relation with their nanu?
They were also close.
Okay.
I'm mother of two children. One is 8 and the other one is 5.
Okay.
And they were also close. Over not every weekend maybe, but at times we used to drop in.
Okay, that's good. So now Tell me, like, if now your father is not there, okay, just look at the way that you know that the person who is coming to this world has to go one day. So how old was he when he left?
He was 74.
74. So you had, I guess you had a good time with him. Very beautiful memories you must be having.
Yes,
Because
definitely. I
yeah,
have good memories with him. But as I've told you earlier, that he was not, uh, it was not that he was keeping unwell or he was not, he was sick, he was in bed, nothing of that sort. Suddenly, he had a massive attack and just passed away.
so
So it
before,
was very heartbroken for us, especially for me, because as I'm the elder daughter, I was too attached with my father.
yes,
So whatever may be the age factor, but his the missing part that he's no more, it is really difficult for me to accept it, actually.
I can understand. It's really very difficult. But as you told me that he had that attack before also, a minor attack or something that you told me.
No, he did not have any attacks
It
earlier,
was the first
but
attack.
this was the first time. And
Okay.
after we went to the hospital, the doctor said that there were series of attacks.
Oh, okay.
So nothing could be done. Within a short span, he passed away. Maybe the doctors were also helpless, but the loss is a loss.
Yes,
We
very
could
true.
not take it because it was very sudden.
Hmm.
We were not prepared for it. If he was sick, he was not keeping well, he was in bed, or he was hospitalized for a long time, he was suffering. We
Hmm.
could not see him suffer. So then maybe we could have prepared ourselves mentally that he
Yes.
would be no more, but he did not give us that chance at all.
Okay.
And as I've already mentioned that he occupied a great part in my life. So it's difficult for me now to accept the fact that he's no more. I cannot connect with him.
Hmm. That's true. But now, when he's not there, his memories are there with you. You can always, you had a good time with him. Tell me something, when you got your first job, how did he feel?
Definitely, he was overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Uh, when I got my first job, I was not married also. I was with him only. He
Yes.
was in his office.
Hmm.
And as I got a call from the company, the first thing I did was I called him.
So true.
So definitely he was overwhelmed.
Yeah.
But he was very calm person. He did not show. He just said that मुझे तो पता था, ये तो होना ही था.
You have been a good doctor. So that's why he was confident.
Yeah. So everything good or bad happened with me. I did. He was the first person that I reached out.
Yeah. Okay. So he has been a very good father to you.
Definitely.
So now if I talk about your children, like you told me that right now you don't have any routine or anything else,
Mhm.
but your children are still, might be still going to school. So how you
Yes.
are taking care of them?
Right. As I told you, I don't have a very specific routine. Means I do things very mechanically.
Okay.
Like, yes, both my children, one 5 and the other 8, uh, Mary and Lisa,
Hmm.
they are going to school and they leave by, they go by bus, school bus. They leave by 7:30.
Hmm.
So I do get up, I do prepare breakfast for them.
Hmm.
I do prepare the tiffin. and do see them off at the bus stop. But it is done very mechanically. It is not that I can, I mean, what to say, I do not actually involve myself emotionally, or I'm not able to do it. I want, maybe I want to, but I'm not able to attach myself emotionally to these jobs, to the work. And after they leave, as I've already told, then again I am lost, because as I've already told you, I lost my job also.
I can understand that you told me.
So then I'm totally lost, because previously, after my children left, I had to get ready for my work. I had to prepare myself to leave the house. Before leaving, I had certain responsibilities.
Yes.
So now those things are not there. I have enough time, and definitely the routine, I don't maintain any routine.
Okay.
जैसे जैसे काम आता है मैं करती हूँ, मर्जी हुआ तो करती हूँ, and नहीं हुआ तो I don't do. I let it go.
That I understand. And what about right now, the relationship with your mother? Have you been talking to her or not?
Yes, my mother, of course, she has also lost her husband.
Yes.
So initially she was with my sister, then she came over to my place, but she wanted to go back to her own house.
Yes.
And yes, I do call her every day just to see that she's fine or not. But like with my father, I did not know when to put down my phone or when to disconnect the call. But with my mother, the conversations are very limited.
Yes.
I do it every day. I do it. It's not that I don't. I visit her also if she needs anything. I do it for her also. But yes, everything I'm doing it very mechanical. But to be honest, my sister is more attached to my mother. So maybe she's taking care of my mother more than me. I have, I, I need to admit that also.
So, and what about your husband?
Yeah, my husband, he's a working person. He's in service.
Okay.
He also leaves for office at around 8, 8:15 in the morning, and he's back home by again 8:30.
Just try to understand that the things that leave us, the people, nobody can take their place, but still we have to move on. If do you remember when you were a child, you were living with your father and mother? Did your father had his parents with him or not?
No, actually, my father, he lost his parents at very early age.
Okay.
So I don't have any memories of my grandparents.
So that means you have been lucky enough to have a good, to spend a good long time with your father, rather than your father being not so lucky that he wasn't able to spend good time or a longer time with his parents. But still, he tried to come out strong and tried to raise you the way he wanted. So don't you think that you should also try to overcome the things and try to focus on your kids more, because at this point of time when they are 5 or 8, they need you more than anybody else, because you are a mother and nobody can take your place ever.
No, I'm trying to. It's not that I'm neglecting my kids. I'm doing everything for them. I'm preparing the breakfast for them, the tiffin. They are getting ready for school. They're going to school. They're coming back from school. They have their, uh, I mean, they have their food,
Yes.
whatever they want to eat. I'm preparing. Uh, they sit for their studies. But again, I repeat, I am doing it everything very mechanically. I have lost the value of my life. I have lost my values. I feel that if I don't stay, these things can be done by anybody. It's not mandatory that I have to do it.
If That
I
is-
don't have my job. Basically, I don't have anything to do the whole day.
Yes. But the thing is, until and unless you're not trying to overcome this grief, how can you find, are you in a state of mind to find a good job for yourself? Because you have been working in such a reputed company for such a long time and very efficiently. So I don't think so that people might not be having any job for you. It is just that what I believe is you're not seeking any job just because the loss of your father.
Maybe, but to be honest, that I was not also mentally prepared to lose a job suddenly. That was for that, because, no, for no fault of mine.
Mhm.
If I had committed or any mistake or any fault or any default from my side, okay, fine, it was acceptable. But when the fault was not from my side, for no reason, suddenly, while coming out from I was already grief stricken with my father's loss, and I get a letter from their side, that they just intimate me that I am no more a part of that organization. Already mentioned that I miss my laptop, I miss my keyboard, I miss my, I like when I go to office, I don't have my iCard, I don't have anything.
Mhm.
So what was actually a very, whatever was very important in my life,
Yes.
everything went missing within a month's time,
Like you told me,
back to back.
yes. Like you told me, the company was downsizing. So
Exactly.
it was just only you who lost the job, or there are
No,
many
many, no, many of them lost. Not me. Then along with the financial, see, every month I may be supporting my family or not financially. The family may need my support or not, but getting an amount
yes,
credited to your account, I think it counts a lot.
so true.
It's a
Very true.
mental, it, I mean, that balance has also got disturbed. So I had certain, like as you asked me that who takes care of your mother, like whenever now if I want to do something for my mother, I feel that I don't have a job,
Mhm.
because
Yes.
to take care doesn't mean only being there physically.
Yes.
So
You can wrap it up in a minute.
yeah, sure, Suveen
Yes.
sir.
So what I can say right now is you should, I guess you should focus more on your children right now and
Okay,
try to just remember the good things of your father.
right.
And you inside also, you know that you have some responsibilities to, like taking care of your mother also.
Sure.
So just try to uh, focus on that right now and try to find a good job for yourself.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Excellent.
Yes, Suveen sir.
Excellent. All right, great. So let me quickly just give you my reflection. It's a time people will go. And let me also put you off from the spotlight. So remove spotlight, remove spotlight. Okay, now it's time. Okay, great, excellent. Okay. I have something quickly for, so yeah, Indrani, good job. I think you picked it up, but I understand sometimes what happens, depending on who the client is, the mood of counseling can change, right? A lot, because, and who the counselor is, of course, a lot, but even the client can change and mood of counseling can change entirely a lot. So well, that's good. You were more calm and composed. You were not as, difficult as Aarti was. Uh, so it's good. Abhijit, you were lucky. So But yes, let me quickly ask from Indrani only, and then I will quickly ask from Abhijit, and then I will share my reflection. Quickly. Yes, Indrani, as a client, what did you feel? What's a reflection you have for
Yes,
Abhijit?
Abhijit was good. Not like as you said, he was calm. He was uh, he listened, but like with the previous with Prashant, as you said, he
Yeah.
allowed me to stop. He did not allow me to talk. Like I had to stop, and then he asked a question. Like I could not continue with whatever I wanted to say.
Who are you saying this? Prashant or Abhijit? Abhijit,
No,
right?
Abhijit.
Acha, theek hai.
So
Okay.
what happened? I had to stop. The question was very specific, and my answer was also very specific. It was one line, maybe, or two to three
Okay.
words, maybe. Like he asked,
All
what
right.
about her husband? I said,
What's the
yes, my
overall
husband goes to work.
experience you have as a client? What's the overall experience? Do you want to come back to Abhijit as a counselor? Do you want to pay him for this session?
Maybe, but
Do
I
you want
can't
to?
say yes.
Okay. All right. Abhijit, this is for you. ऐसे ही free लोग आके भाग जाएंगे अभिजीत पैसे नहीं देंगे and then you will say कि hey nobody pays so it's better we work on the counseling skills. ठीक है. Excellent. Abhijit, self reflection quickly. How you think you did?
Okay, sorts. Because I have not, means this has never been my forte actually. And I haven't studied any psychological or anything. This is very new for me. So I just try
That's all
to
right.
do the conversation on the very basic way.
No problem. As long as, even if you learn the basics, you can help your loved ones, you can help yourself, you can help their friends and family if you have the basics right at least. So no problem. But what is the self-assessment that you have?
I don't have
Uh,
any assessment.
okay, no problem. Anyone else has anything? So if no one has, then I will have my assessments. Okay, one sec. All right, so here we go. Okay. So initial part, see, I think you need to work a little bit more. So initially, the engagement part. So 5-step counseling process, I think all of you must have. Has it been added to your program in course? There was a small program, so I requested, and I think there is a service group already have, so you can agree with Pratishtha. If there is no 5-step counseling process one added to your program list, ask the team to add it as a complementary so that you have your basics right. There is a program, 5-step counseling process. Add this. This will be very, very helpful, apart from whatever else you learn in counseling. So I will say that, Vijay, you definitely want to follow those steps. Like, it's very, very important that you connect with people. It's very important that you build that rapport. Acha, few things that big don't. Do's, yes, you are nice, calm, composed. You have a very good gesture of counselor, but all of these has to be translated into a communication, this speed. And when I say communication, keep your communication as dynamic as possible, not static. I know everyone has their own speaking style still. It's like going with the flow. So there are times when you're talking about a little bit of, so sometime, and what are the things that I'm mentioning? Sometimes the speed, tempo can also matter. For example, initially I can start, hi, Ma, or maybe, you're just resuming. I understand everything. And is it okay to ask how is your daily routine and how do you start your day, continue your afternoon, and spend your evening? And then depending on the wavelength that Emma is vibrating on, you need to pick that wavelength. She's fast, you're fast. She's slow, you're slow. She's soft, you're soft. But even if she's screaming, you don't have to scream. So keeping your basic counseling thing in mind. Few things that there are 2 social advices you give to Emma that you shouldn't have. 2 power statements you use. Number 1, you said everyone who has come in the world has to go. No, never say this as a counselor. ये सब family वालों के लिए, counselor के लिए नहीं. You never say that because it is so obvious that they shouldn't be a part of counseling session. So obvious, right? So that's one thing. The other thing that I had for you here, yes, you said that now when he's not there, yeah. So this is one. So now when he's not there, his memories are with you. Now, see, it's good to ask that now when he's not there, his memories are with you. In what context you're saying? Thank God later on you said that you asked, you remember the good memories. If you wouldn't have told, it's like, I know that's a problem. So when there is a loss of someone, what troubles you the most? Memories. Like you might end up inflecting those memories. So you might wanted to ask this differently. Say like, okay, based on the image that I can build while I'm speaking with you about your dad. I think, no, every dad is great though, but I think he was very special to you. It goes without saying. I'm sure he has been there for you in many memorable moments. What is one thing that you really loved about your dad? So maybe you can translate this very differently. Be careful, because even if you talk about good memories, she's still gonna cry. If you talk about everything, she's the most vulnerable situation right now. So you talk about, okay, what is one thing, and what do you think your dad would be proud of? Ask the questions that has some sense of brevity, or bring some sense of brevity. Otherwise, she's already very, very tender right now. If you touch any aspects of good memories, she's again going to burst into tears. That's fine. Grieving is a
Case
process.
of Aarti, actually.
Uh-huh.
So that's the thing.
Yeah.
And it was in the case of Aarti, actually, not in the case of Indrani, ma'am.
So that's because of the personality that she was like, I know what things happened, but I'm here to take help, and I know that you are helping and will go along with you. But she was a little composed from outside.
Yes.
Yeah, well, that's fine. But same for you. You are also very composed. So yeah, but
actually.
yeah, but on the other side, because even if someone is not able to express fully, maybe as expressive as Aarti was,
Yes.
pain is pain. It hurts equally bad. Some people are able to articulate it, some people are not. Same thing. Inside it hurts equally bad. So, but I think, Abhijit, good. My perfect advice would be 5-step counseling process that you have there. Get it by heart. Just learn, create the fundamentals of counseling, and everything will be all right. All right, excellent. That's it from my side. The time is there, but if anyone has, 10:13. So I think it's time to say goodbye, and maybe we'll see you in the next session, Friday. Hopefully by Saturday, Himanshu will be here.
We can discuss it on Q&A session also.
Yeah, Q&A session you can discuss when I come. Maybe you can discuss that time too. Okay.
Okay. Goodbye, everyone.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank you
everyone.
so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good night,
Good night.
everybody.
Take care.
Thank you so
Good
much.
night.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Good
everyone.
night.
Thanks,
Thank you,
everyone.
Prashant.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.